where you're just with one examiner. You're not talking to someone in zoning and talking to someone in building, and we've done a lot of cross-training to that end. We have, with these bar shows, we have said, here's what to expect from us, and we've met it. In terms of aesthetics, that's another area, because we're trying to position ourselves as this is the gateway to your point of you're coming in. So aesthetically, we created a couple rooms that look a little bit like this, that are a little more welcoming in terms of the overall experience when you come in. And then our communication, which is still a piece that I think we need some greater improvement on. But we do have a contract right now with a company that's redoing all of our forms with the intent of saying, all right, we know technically what we need to provide, what you need to provide to us, but we hired a third company to put it into easier language for the customer on what to provide. So those are, in a nutshell, that's what we've done. And we have one of our managers comes up, talking to her, and she said, I can't sleep at night. I'm waking up at 4 in the morning. How am I going to make this 30 minutes happen? Because I know, because they believe in it so much. So our employees have done a phenomenal job. While we say 30 minutes here for licensed customers.
So is that what I saw a request come through for counseling services for Department of License, especially now, having folks sit and talk with someone about their anxieties that they're trying to meet the 30
Oh, that's the other thing. In terms of our customer surveys, 90% of our customers say that they have a very good to an excellent experience with us. And this last month, we meet every month about what's coming in and what we're seeing. And this last month, we saw a dip, so I asked that every single person that filled out the survey get a call. And actually, they were just hard graders. This past month seemed like, because what they told us over the phone was, no, we got in, we got out. The process was a lot easier than before.
Maybe their expectations are
so who knows? I mean, that's a little bit of it, and I think that's one of the things that we've got to continue to do, which is like, what's that next leap? Again, this 30 minutes. The average actually for licenses is about 15 if you when you come in. We service 400 customers in person a day, which comes to about 90,000 a year. So it's a tremendous amount of people coming in to see us and for us to deliver a service. I think like any organization, we have, that little bit of that 10%. Sometimes I hear from customers, they don't want this one or so employee in terms of the experience. And we're working on it. We have actually 8 new grad civils, and they're phenomenal right out of school. 8 new grad civil engineers that are going to be doing our plan review that hopefully will actually impact the state even more. And we have 5 new construction trainees that are all training, and they have to get 3 certifications in the building code and various codes within 6 months, and they've all passed already. So we have a really good training program underway with them. I think outside of that, I think we're actually very good comparing our process times to other cities. Chicago 2 weeks ago just put out a press release that they're going to be going from 45 to 35 days. And we kind of fist pumped and said, yeah, we got that. So anyhow, the other thing, Kat, and I didn't think of this prior, sorry, to this meeting, it didn't catch it. I think the fiscal year 9 numbers for residential, commercial, and residential review, actually at that point, I think we were saying within 35 days. And now we're comparing 15 and 20.
So the higher percents were against a different standard?
Yes, against a different standard. And I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
You're right, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the other thing that Fran and I have spent a lot of time trying to think through, because anticipating significant changes in the zoning law also means that we have a whole education process to do. That's why, among other things, Fran is very interested in this sort of cross training between zoning and building permitting so that we can talk about both at the same time. We have, and it's gotten to what comes up now is the timing is good, but the rules, particularly at the zoning level, are very flawed. We're going to talk about that in 2 slides later. And it means that the results are a lot of refusals, often based on sort of just oddball aspects of zoning law that are what they are. And one of the issues that we've discussed that I think we now want to go in and work with counter staff on is how do we now reposition from this is what the rule says to how do we solve this problem? The techniques, at least at the moment, may all be the same. Well, you have to go to the zoning board. But I think now that there's now a level of qualitative customer service that we're interested in making sure is available to people. So that, again, it's sort of like the OBS situation before. We may not be able to have you avoid going to the zoning board, but we can at least make clear the steps, the process, make sure it's predictable.
Okay, let me just, first let me say that we're fortunate to have a lot of great managers in the government, but given some of the particular challenges that L&I has faced over many, many years, I mean, clearly you have created one of the great turnaround stories for virtually any department in the city government. What you've been able to do over the last 2-3 years is really amazing. A great team down there. The changes that you've made, process-wise, look-wise, attitude-wise, that I run into a few people from time to time all across the city, and actually had more than a few tell me that they've had a good experience, unsolicited. I mean, I wasn't there to talk to them about, your particular department. It just kind of comes up in conversation. So one, I want to commend you for it. I mean, you've been very, very focused. You've had limited resources, and now literally trying to build back that department. But that comes as a result of your focus, your direction, your drive. So I want to say thank you for that. The second is the increasingly popular Adele. You may spend some time with him focused on issues of technology and how that can help you even drive some of those numbers better and deliver that higher quality service. Alan, when he talks about the zoning code and proposed changes, obviously we're hopeful that those, after the great work of the Zoning Code Commission, that those changes will go into effect shortly. That will, kind of change things, not only for you guys and gals, but also, I think, more importantly, even for the public. I mean, the rules will change in a variety of ways, hopefully in a much more positive fashion, but the fact remains, we will need to educate a very broad public about significant change in that code, but they're going to end up at your doorstep trying to figure out, well, last year it was X, Y, Z, this year it's ABC, what happened, what is this all about? And so again, to the extent that we can utilize technology to assist in that educating and the kind of more graphic demonstration of what's going on and what those changes are, that's something I want to encourage you to work with Adele and his team on those things.
Okay. Thank you. We have a meeting tomorrow at 10. Do we not?
That's a great leeway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's why you're great, Commissioner. You could have told me that.
I was trying to send it through brainwaves, but
It's hard to interrupt the mayor when he's going on and profusely about yourself. Come on.
Wonderful team. 2018.
Next slide's about Office of Economic Opportunity, also reorganized under this administration. We have now, I think, just Kevin, quarterly reporting of our progress. Their mission has changed from primarily a certification agency. We now accept certifications of a whole myriad of organizations out there that are doing that, and we figured we didn't have to more direct work with every single agency in the government to set appropriate goals and ranges for participation and monitor them. Results thus far is that our percentage participation is going up. As of right now, we are very slightly below the target we set of 25% composite minority women disadvantaged businesses, and we believe we're going to hit that target.
Yes, we do.
The target, 25% each year back to 07, or is the target changed?
No, the target was established with this mayor, and so I don't believe there were any targets in the years prior. But Mayor Nutter came out, said they want to, and the target is the base level, it's the bottom. We want to make sure that once we get there, that then we increase it beyond that point. So we should talk about it as being the base level that we want to create. But no, there was no target earlier.
And the city, a number of years back, I mean, my recollection is there had been kind of episodic disparity studies from time to time and from challenge to challenge now we're in a situation where pretty much annually,
Yeah, we get the disparity studies done annually now, and they've been
which then
done.
helps to drive the goal.
That's right. And what has been the problem in the past, which we've straightened out now, is that from year to year in the past, those disparity studies were not consistent in the way in which they delivered the information. So you were apples and oranges every year, and we were back and forth trying to explain why we changed the numbers. And so we finally gotten a grasp on, okay, let's have these consistent numbers going forward so that we can then judge ourselves, wrong or right, with consistent numbers. And that's what the dramatic change has been.
So even looking at some of these earlier numbers are not completely comparable, is that what you're saying?
No, well, the numbers are comparable. You can say that the numbers are, what is disparity studies, the disparity between our spend and what actually is available to have.
So this is consistent, it's been
The percentages that you see, 27, 18, 18, are consistent. That's consistent information across the board.
And I think the result of this reorganization has also allowed us to spend more time on the next set of things. And it's not just about contracting. It's also, we need to start looking, we're looking at, as you know, spending in through the nonprofit sector, which doesn't have the obvious measure of business ownership, through issues of employment. And it's really allowed us to get into that with a pretty modest staff.
With additional focus, though, on the quote-unquote quasi-government agencies, who's the ones that interact with or control, and paying attention to what they're doing and making sure that they're a part of this process as well.
Absolutely.
That's right. And the back-end enforcement, where we're seeing things that are not going right, we're addressing them.
I know she's not here, but I do also want to recognize Angela Dalburton for the work that she's doing, creating the economic opportunity officers, not a new position, but giving someone additional responsibilities to be the economic opportunity officer in each department, which we had not had before.
That's right.
That helps every manager as they're filling potholes, putting out fires, doing all the day-to-day things that all the commissioners and managers are doing, that there's a person in the department who's also helping to remind and push internally the organization. The other thing I know that you've done is also increase the number of registered just on our list. Now, we're getting away from the certification issue, but the more entities you have on a registration list, minority, female, and disabled business owners, you can drive more of the process in terms of the goals because you have more businesses that are available. And we still, unless it's been a significant change, but my recollection of just a few months ago, about $57 million in business opportunity that for which we had known.
That's correct.
Minority, female, or disabled businesses that were even showing up.
That's right.
To bid or were even on our list. And this is by the SIC codes,
Right.
I believe. So there's still a lot of business opportunity out there for firms, and we want folks to participate. But one last comment on this area, and this ultimately is, for whatever reason, over in, I think, the Revenue Commissioner's shop, to some extent. We need to do a much better job at promoting the local business enterprise 5% discount, created for the purpose of trying, in many instances, to level some of the challenges that a Philadelphia-based business might face as opposed to someone from Kansas City, St. Louis, whatever. There is some advantage to being a locally based business, and we need to make sure that this, again, could be one of those mailers in a positive way, letting folks know that if you literally just register with us as a local business enterprise,